The Watchtower Bible Tract Society has been secretly planting satanic images and disturbing, perverted images in their magazines and books. And it seems like they've been doing this since the beginning, since the 1900s, or maybe even the 1800s when they first started out. Now, people who are still in religion will always be in denial. And what they'll say is that these images circulating online, that they're made by apostates. And in all fairness, it is possible that somebody could Photoshop and put these disturbing images using some sort of computer programming. So I decided that I was not going to cover any of this type of material unless I physically had the book in front of me. And I'm also only going to cover the ones that are undisputed, because some of these images are so dark and so disturbing that even I myself thought, did somebody really maybe just make that up? Or is the organization that bold that they would deliberately put these satanic images right in the literature where you can see it? So I had basically got a hold of three books. I'm only going to cover one today, but I wanted to make sure I had the physical book in my hand so I can justify what I'm going to present. And I could, without any doubt, be able to confirm that this indeed is real, is not something some apostate photoshopped online. That if you have the physical book in your hand, you can find some of this satanic images and perverted images. So I got in front of me the You Can Live Forever in Paradise book. And this book is in very good condition. It almost looks brand new. And this is the actual book. So what I'm going to show you is not something photoshopped, not something online, not something that a Jehovah's Witness can say the apostates made it up. This is the physical book in front of me. So for anyone that can get their hands on this book, because of course the Jehovah's Witness organization has made it just about impossible for their members to get a hold of this book. But for anyone that can get their hands on this book, or any Jehovah's Witness that still happens to have this book, go to page 244. And that's 244. Now, this is page 244, but there's no page number at the top of this particular page. So you can see this is 242, which would be, this would be 243. And this one would be 244, the one in question. Now, if you go to the bottom of this page, you can see nothing really stands out. But if you look at this image, now this is the part where it gets subliminal because it's hidden. That you see this woman sitting on a couch. And if you notice behind her, there's a desk. And on that desk, you see a lamp, a vase of flowers, and you see a brown picture. Now, this is very subliminal because you really can't see it if you don't know what you're looking for. Now, you see, if I zoom out, no one is going to really pay attention to what's on that picture on the desk next to the vase of flowers. But what that is, and this is what I'm going to show you, is this is a demonic Egyptian god subliminally planted in that picture next to the flower vase. So notice what happens, or notice what it looks like as I get closer in on it. Now, don't mind the shadow. I'm not really an expert at trying to report this like this, but I'm going to try to zoom in enough where it doesn't blur. But basically, you can see it's an image. And it's a sideways head, a ram's head with horns on it. Okay, that I think is going to be the closest that I'm going to get to it showing you live on my camera. So that is an Egyptian satanic god. Now, the question is, why did they put that there subliminally in the background so that the witnesses wouldn't notice it? But as you can see, once you see it, it's very clear what it is. Okay, it almost zoomed in. There you go. Perfect. You can see that clear as day, right? It's pointed sideways. There's horns coming around the side of the face. That is an Egyptian satanic god. Now, I'm going to show you some pictures online, but I wanted just to show you that this is from the actual book sitting in front of me right now. Right? This is not something made up, and any Jehovah's Witness can get a hold of this book if they can get a hold of this book, because the organization banned the book because they don't want their members finding this and some other demonic stuff in this book. But this is page 244 in the Live Forever in Paradise book. Right? You can't deny that that's clearly what that is. So you might be asking, well, how do I know that's an Egyptian satanic god? So now I'm going to show you some stuff online. But as you can see, this is the book, and it's right in front of me right now. So if you're wondering how I know this is an Egyptian satanic god, when I was going online and I was trying to find more information about this, someone had said that it's the god Amun-Ra. So when I looked up Amun-Ra, what I got is a ram's head, sometimes with this guy next to it. So for anyone that wants to look this up, you can go to any search engine and type in Amun-Ra ram head. And again, it was somebody else online who made that connection, that picture on the bookshelf behind a woman was the Egyptian god Amun-Ra. So research Amun-Ra ram head, or look up Amun-Ra ram head images. And this is one of the images that I found. So apparently that is Amun-Ra, and he's attached to this ram head. Now, of course, all these images look slightly different. Here's another one with Amun-Ra at the bottom on the ram's head. And in this one, Amun-Ra, his actual face is the face of the ram. But this is what you're going to find if you look up Amun-Ra ram head. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because from the side view, it looks like the picture frame behind the woman. And if you're not convinced yet, it's going to become even more obvious. Here's another one. And you can see, and if you can see where my mouse is at, this is the eyeball. And this horn is going around right like that. And then there's this marking right here on the side of the face. That's the nose, that's the mouth. But this is the part you want to pay attention to, where their eye is at, and this distinctive horn that wraps around the back of the head, around the neck to the mouth, with this thing right here. And here's just a close-up of it. So you can see this is the eyeball. This is the horn that goes, wraps around the back of the head on the side of the face to the mouth. Then you have this little indentation right here on his face. And this is the nose and the mouth. So now this is a picture that I took from my iPhone, from the book that's right in front of me right now. Right? So again, this is not online. This is from the book that I have in front of me right now. And do you see what I just point out with the last picture? There's the eyeball. There's the horn that wraps around the back of the head, around the side of the face to the nose. There's a nose, there's a mouth, there's an indentation on the side of the face. Same thing. Now this one is a blown up picture of the head so you can get a better look at it. And this is again the eye, the horn that wraps up around the back of the head, around the side of the face. That's the nose. That's the mouth. That's the indentation on the side of his face. And this is just a blown up picture of what's on the desk in the Paradise book. So you can see exactly what it is. Now let's take a look at this image in comparison to the other ones. So you see these two right here. This is from the Paradise book, right? The eye, the horn that wraps around the back of the head on the side of the face. Same thing. Same exact thing. In fact, this picture in the Paradise book was probably taken from this known Egyptian art, because you can see it's the same exact thing. The eye's in the same place. The horn wraps around the back of the head, around the side of the face, the mouth, the nose, the indentation on the side of the face. Same exact thing. There is no question that this is the same thing. Amun-Ra, ram head, an Egyptian god. Now this picture, the third one down, you can see it's the same thing, even though the drawing is not as the same as, say, these two, the one from the Paradise book and this one underneath. This one is slightly different, but it's the same characteristic, right? The eyeball, the horn wraps around the back of the head, side of the face, indentation right here, nose, mouth. It's the same thing. And this bottom picture, this just shows you who the people at Watchtower are worshiping. This Amun-Ra, Egyptian god. Man, ram's head, both. Now, can any Jehovah's Witness honestly look at this and try to explain or justify this? You can see it's clearly planted subliminally on the bookshelf or on the table next to the flower vase. And it's subliminal because no one's going to really look at that and really see it, right? They're not even going to realize there's an image there unless you look close enough to it. So why did the Watchtower decide to subliminally take this known picture, say the second one right here, the second one down, why would they take this known picture of this Amun-Ra ram head Egyptian god and place it on the table? Well, you see, that's what a subliminal message is for. It's meant because they don't want you to flat out see it, but it's subliminally there in the background. But the thing about subliminal messages is that it's sort of like Where's Waldo? You ever play that game, Where's Waldo? and there's a big, maybe crowd of people, and you got to try to find Waldo. And it's not that easy to find Waldo because, it's a crowd of people. So like, you really got to look to find it. But the thing is, once you find Waldo, it's clear what it is. You're not going to get confused. Oh, there's Waldo, because once you see it, then it's right in your face. And that's similar to these subliminal messages in Watchtower. It's just like Where's Waldo, where, when you look at this book on page 244, you're not going to really see it, right? It blends in like Where's Waldo. But once you blow it up and see what it is, like once you find this, it is 100% accurate, 100% obvious what it actually is. It's not a mystery. Like once you see it, the Watchtower is basically letting you know subliminally that this is who they really serve. Jehovah's Witnesses are always calling everybody pagan. The only people who are pagan are them. They're pagan. That's what this is saying. This is basically saying in a subliminal message that they are pagan, right? They claim everything else is pagan. They are pagan. That is the only reason why they're secretly putting these satanic Egyptian gods in their literature, right? That's why it's there, because they're pagan. Now, any Jehovah's Witness watching this video, why don't you show this to your elders and ask them that? Say, why do they secretly put a satanic Egyptian god subliminally in the background? Ask them. Right? I mean, what are they going to say? You can't deny this. You cannot deny this. Even the most brainwashed Jehovah's Witness cannot look at this image and say that this is not what that is. You can clearly see it's the same exact thing. So the question is, why is it there? Well, I know why it's there, because again, they're pagan, and this is what these satanic people have to do. They always have to put clues in plain sight, right? It's crazy how they think, but the point is, these Satanists, these devil worshippers, people who really worship these gods, they always have to put clues. And this is a clue subliminally on who they really serve. Right? And the message they're telling you is they are pagan. That is the only reason why they have a pagan Egyptian god planted in the background, is because that's who they really serve. Now, when I ask any Jehovah's Witness watching this to go ask her elders, well, let's face it, you already know that you can't do that because they'll call you an apostate. You're not allowed to question these things, right? So the only way a witness can basically verify that this is true would be they would have to get their hands on the Revelation book first and go to page 244. However, the first roadblock that the Watchtower has set up for them is, most of us know that I believe it was like in 2013 or 2014 that headquarters asked all the congregations worldwide to turn in all their old literature, all their old books, all their old magazines. And I remember 2013, 2014, when they asked us to do that, I thought it was kind of strange. And I was still brainwashed at the time, but even I thought, like, why do we have to give all of our old books away? But they called all the books back. They wanted all of these old publications they don't use anymore. They wanted everyone to ship them into headquarters. We were supposed to bring them to the local Kingdom Hall, and then the Kingdom Hall was going to send them to Bethel, world headquarters. What was really weird about this is that I remember them saying that if we had any books that were really like beat up and maybe had like a lot of writing inside, like just not in really good condition, they said throw those books away. And that's really strange, because they could have just said, well, if they're really messed up, keep them. But no, they specifically said either turn them in or throw the books away. So this is kind of why they were told to do that, because the organization doesn't want them to be able to find these old books and verify what I'm saying, what other people online are actually saying. So the first roadblock is that the average Jehovah's Witness is not even going to have access to the Live Forever Paradise book, because the organization called all the books in, right? They called them all in. So how are they going to get the book is number one. So the next way that they can get the book is use their approved Watchtower online library or the watchtowerjw.org. So surprisingly, the Live Forever in Paradise book is on jw.org. So this is one way that witnesses may be able or think that they can verify whether or not this is true. So if you go to jw.org and you go to the library section, go to books and brochures, and you can go to page 24, which is the last page, and go backwards. And this is going to get you all their old publications. As you can see, they actually have really old books on their website. So just keep going back. Right. And again, I started at page 24, worked my way forward. And you notice some of these old books don't seem to have covers. Some of them have covers, some of them are blank. And you see the inconsistency. Why do some of these old publications have the cover and some of them don't? So here it is right here. You Can Live Forever in Paradise Earth. And this one also has a blank cover. So why do they have a blank cover? Well, I'm going to go back to that a little bit later on why even the cover is banned. But notice the inconsistencies, how some of these books have the cover and some of them do not have the cover. Well, why would they block the front cover of the book out? So let's go to You Can Live Forever in Paradise Earth on their approved website. And the chapter we were in was chapter 29. And let me just look at the physical book again. Okay, so the physical book, it was chapter 29 titled Making a Success of Family Life. So that's the chapter that we want to look for. Yeah, Making a Success for Family Life. This is it. This is the chapter we're in. So now we want to look for page 244. And as you can see, they actually do have the page numbers here. So that's 241, 242, 243, and right here, 244. So they can look this book up on the watchtowerjw.org website, but there's no pictures. Why are all the pictures missing? In fact, if you look through this whole chapter and the whole book, you'll see that all the pictures are deleted from the publication. So why is that? Why is the cover blank and why are all the pictures gone? Well, one thing about the cover being blank is that the physical book in front of me has all these little speckles on the front, like these dark speckles. And someone else on YouTube actually held a mirror up to the cover of this book with all the speckles on it. And the speckles next to a mirror have all these like demonic creatures that you can only see by putting a mirror to the front of the book with these speckles. Now, I'm not going to do all that because those are things that some would debate. They're going to say, oh, you're just seeing a face because you want to see a face. So I'm not going to do any stuff with the mirrors because I have enough incriminating evidence already where I don't even have to go there. But when people are making the claim that the front of this book has these speckles, and if you put a mirror next to it, it draws out these demonic faces. Well, as you can see, the cover is blank for a reason. Why is the cover blank? Right. And you notice that when I was in the library, they have the cover to some of these other books. But as you see, the cover is blank for a reason. That's why in some of these books, they don't even want you looking at the cover because the cover, some of these covers have demonic stuff right planted in the cover. But why are there no pictures in the book? And you see how clever this is. It's so clever because they tell Jehovah's Witnesses you're not allowed to go online to look at so-called apostate websites or apostate material. They would say that my channel is apostate, is what they would claim. So I'm showing you on my channel with the physical revelation book in front of me, the page number and everything, that demonic satanic Egyptian god that's right in the book. Yet they can't look at my website because, oh, that's apostate. They can only go to jw.org, the approved website. So now if a Jehovah's Witness goes on their approved website to verify the image that I'm showing, well, what do you know? They took all the images, so they can't verify it. You see how clever Watchtower is? They're not allowed to go to apostate websites to find this information. But then if they try to look for it on their website, they took out all the images. And then they had everybody turn in all their old books. So you see, this very deliberate what they're doing. This is why they told the witnesses, turn in all your old books so that they can't physically look at this stuff that I'm showing you. And then they go on the website and they make sure that none of the pictures of this book, not even a cover, are there, so nobody can see it. Now, some people, because witnesses, they get so defensive and they're so brainwashed that they'll just say, oh, well, they just don't have images, on the website. Well, let's take a look at some of their other books to show that they do have images on almost all their other books. So this right here is, and you can find this on page 2 of their library of books and brochures, the New Paradise book, Enjoy Life Forever, right? Kind of the same idea. So if you go to Enjoy Life Forever and you see same setup, right? Click on the chapter and they have pictures there, right? So you see they have no problem putting the pictures on their website with the books. It's just the ones that have the satanic images in it, they got rid of all the pictures so you can't verify it. And it isn't just that book. Let's take a look at even an older book. You can go on this website and look at any ones you want, but I'm going to look for the Keep Yourself in God's Love book. Okay, How to Remain in God's Love. This is the Keep Yourself in God's Love book. They basically just changed the title. They revised it. But this book, I studied this book in 2012 when I became a Jehovah's Witness. And they just changed the name to How to Remain in God's Love instead of Keep Yourself in God's Love. But it's the same book, it's just revised. And this is not a new book. They don't even study this anymore. But let's go to this book. And as you can see, there's images, right? So why the inconsistency? Why are there certain books, the ones that in question, the ones that people like myself are showing their satanic imagery in those books, why are those the books, the ones that they don't look at, that they don't let you look at the pictures? And they even cut off the front cover. So again, going back to Live Forever and Paradise book, and as you see, no pictures. No pictures in the book and no front cover. Now, I really want any Jehovah's Witness watching this video, because I do sometimes get negative comments from Jehovah's Witnesses that shouldn't be on my channel, but they desperately will sometimes come on my channel and try to fight, the things that I'm mentioning on my videos. But if you're a Jehovah's Witness, use your brain. God gave you a brain for a reason. I'm showing you from the physical book the satanic stuff. I showed it to you from the book. It's in my hands. First thing, the Watchtower tells everybody, turn in your old books, right? So they're banning this old book. They don't even want you to have access to this physical book. They had to call all the books back worldwide of all these old literature books. This is the reason why they did that, so that you cannot verify that image or other images yourself. And then number 2, their second line of defense, so they put the books online where they can obviously make changes and adjustments with the wording, which I'm sure they're doing that, what means of updates. But then they put the book on their website, because they tell you you're not allowed to go to apostate websites. So you can only go to this website, jw.org. But then when you try to look for this book on jw.org, they remove the images, so you can't verify it. Right? Do you see what they're doing? So what would happen if you're a Jehovah's Witness watching this and you go to your local elder, say you get your hands on the old Revelation book, right? Because some witnesses weren't obedient. They didn't turn these books in, which is why I still have a copy of this, because I didn't turn mine in. So if you get a copy of this book, why don't you go to your congregation, go to your elders, show them that picture of Amun-Ra, Ramhead, satanic Egyptian god, and then show them the pictures online of Amun-Ra, Ramhead, satanic Egyptian god. Show the elder this where he can't deny it and ask them and say, why is this satanic god subliminally planted in the paradise book? And what your typical elder is probably going to say is he's going to then say, what apostate website were you on? Because you see, that's the way it's set up, right? You're not allowed to verify these things. And that's why they took all the pictures offline. So if anyone who is a Jehovah's Witness that watches this video, they're telling you, right, that they are pagan. That's the message. Once you uncover these subliminal messages, they're not that hard to decipher. That's this hidden message. The hidden message is they are pagan. That is the only reason why they have a pagan Egyptian satanic god planted in the Paradise book. And the reason when you go online and try to find pictures of it and you can't find any is because they removed all the pictures because they want to remove all the evidence. And they don't even let you look at the front cover because there's even satanic imagery right on the front cover.